Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday night at Suburban Homesteader Wyoming, Arizona. And it is a cool day today. I think the high was like 74 and the wind was blowing, but that's life in Wyoming. It'll be just as easy in a few days to be 90 degrees. And there's all kinds of people in here today. So let's say hi. So Melanie is in, Teresa's in, Donna is in, and congratulations to Donna because she won the 25 vanilla beans on Friday night at late night with Nana. And Rebecca's in here, Craig is in here, Jeannie's in here. Wicked Awesome Gardening. Hello, hello. A Seed on Good Soil. Hello, how are you? I love that little icon with the puppy. Angie's in here. And Shelly's here. Shelly, how is Doug this evening? And Christina's in here. I hope I did not miss anybody so far. And Stormy Young One. Hello. Stormy, is this the first time you've been in alive? If it isn't, forgive me. But if it is, welcome. I hope you're having a great week. And everybody's saying hi in the chat. And so that is always fun to me to see everybody say hi. Oh, Stormy says, yes, it's the first time, so welcome. Stormy, do you have a regular YouTube channel or are you just somebody that watches videos? Let us know, because if you have a channel, then people will need to check you out. And it's fun, fun, fun. Well, tonight we're going to talk about, is it too late to start gardening? You know, we live in Wyoming at this time of the year. Oh, and John must be in because Shelly is saying hi to Unpaved Explorer. So, John, how are you? Christine's saying hello. And John says, how are the chickens? The chickens are so fun. Though we did have an escapee today, but she was pretty easy to catch, and I clipped her wings. So I have 3 of them with wings clipped because I'm not going to clip them if they're going to stay where they're supposed to. And you cut them, it doesn't hurt them at all, the place that you cut them. And so we got our very first chicken egg today. And I didn't really think we'd get them for a couple days because it's a stressful thing for chickens to move from one place to another place. But today, got our very first one. And Tim is in. Hello, Tim. How are you? And Tim is one of my subscribers. And Vineyard Chicks are in. They are also a subscriber. Shelly with Healthy Homestead Chick is a subscriber. Tim, and I shouldn't just say subscriber because I mean members. So if they have that little S after their name, they are a member. And Donna is a member too. I hope I didn't miss any of my members. How could I forget Melanie? She is a member too. Okay, so scrolling way back down. I haven't eaten the chicken egg yet. So tomorrow we're going to have the chicken egg. And hopefully tomorrow morning there will be a few more. And so we can have our very own chicken eggs again. Oh, A Seed on Good Soil. Thank you so much. You just became a member. It's 99 cents a month to become a member of Suburban Homesteader Wyoming, Arizona. And it helps me do all kinds of stuff and do giveaways and all kinds of stuff to make the channel even more fun. So I appreciate that. And we are going to talk about gardening today. But a little side note. So I was at the store today. You're right. They're always the best of fresh eggs. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. So I'm at the store today, and I made my own vanilla, and I have vanilla recipes and I have vanilla videos and all kinds of stuff, but I see this in the store. And so I'm reading the package. Okay, so Bakersfield, it says pure vanilla extract. Is it pure vanilla extract? On the side, it says vanilla extract, ethyl alcohol, 36%, water, glycerin, sugar, and vanilla flavoring. So tell me, is this really pure vanilla? I don't think so. I'm throwing it out. I'd throw it on the floor right now, but it's glass and it'll probably break. Yeah, Teresa, I don't know. At some point, YouTube will figure out how it can do it on people's phones. The only thing you could do is I can type in, let me do this. I don't know if on your phone you can copy and paste, but I'll have it pop the link up. And if your phone will let you copy and paste it, then you should be able to just go onto YouTube and put it in the search bar, and it should pop it up. So, and oh, look at Jake's in here too. Spit on that. That's right. You can't even call that vanilla. And how do they get away with saying pure vanilla extract? And then on the side, it tells you all these things they're adding to it. I find it just so crazy. Jake, I saw your lovely wife and 2 daughters on the Vineyard Chicks summer concert. And so that was great. The girls are just getting so much bigger and beautiful. Just fabulous. I tell you, fabulous. So make sure that you check out all the fun channels in the chat. And the nice thing about live streams, you can go back later on and watch or go through the chats and say, oh yeah, I wanted to check them out. So that's always so exciting. Well, it is June 20th, 2022. So say you have been busy. Maybe you just bought a house. Maybe you moved from an apartment to someplace that has a garden. Maybe you decided to use the community garden. Can you still grow? Can you still plant things and still harvest things? That's the question for tonight. And a lot of times people think, oh, it's just not worth it. I'm not going to be able to do that. Just add organic to the name and you can charge twice as much. That's so true. It's terrible, isn't it? And Anne is in. Hello, Anne. How are you? Anne is also one of my members and a dear friend. And she has a great channel too. There's so many good channels in here. On Home Chat, go back and subscribe. The problem that Teresa's having is that she doesn't have a computer. She just has her phone. And for some reason, it won't let her join. So it's a predicament. And look who's here. Leanne is here. Hello, hello. Tony is in here. And Tony always has a live stream after my live stream on Friday nights because I have Late Night with Nana at 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And at 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, Tony has his. So always remember that. And you can check him out. And this month he is doing Jamming Up June. And there are all kinds of channels, lots of them in here that have done videos on different things to make jam out of. It's just been fabulous. So much fun. And I hope I am not missing anybody so far. Hello, how are you? I can't believe I caught you live. How are you today? And Jeannie is in. And look at Blazing Spirituality is back in. You certainly can, but in Texas, it's always too hot until October for most plants unless you start your plants inside until then. See, that's a predicament. You know, because if we were still down in Arizona, there would be a lot of things I would have to do to be able to grow in the summertime. But I have to honestly tell you, we have been in Arizona in the summertime and visited people that actually grow in the summertime. And they're clever on how they shade out that sun to make it so that they can grow. You know, if you've ever seen a greenhouse and they have that black cover over it, that's actually a shade cloth, and you can get them in different degrees. You know, it might block 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%. Well, the people that we had visited in Arizona in the summertime and saw their gardens, they used the 80 and 90%. So it really helped with the heat of the sun, because that's the problem that Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, parts of California in the summertime, lack of water, and it is just blazing hot, you know? And so you have to be clever. You have to think about it. Even here in Wyoming, when it gets really hot, when we have all those 90 degrees and then some 100 degrees, sometimes I have to cover my tomatoes with either bamboo fencing or my screening, that's like a shade cloth, just so they're just not so stressed. And so it's interesting. So the question is, can you still start your garden? I say yes. That's what I say. And Leanne says, my video for Jam It Up June was on marmalade. I love a good marmalade. Our highs are over 95 for the next 10 days, and it has been for 10 days too. That is hot. My mom and dad are down in Phoenix. My mom had this convention thing. And so they didn't come home early like we had come, we've been home a month now. And my dad said the other day it was so hot in Phoenix, Arizona, you couldn't even breathe hardly. He said it was miserable. He says it was just so overwhelming. And then you get in a big city and you have all that concrete and all those buildings, and it just intensifies it, and it's bouncing off, and it's crazy. Tony says, Wednesday I will have a video on my tiny garden for the first time. Oh, Tony, we will be checking that out. How fun. The Vineyard Chick says that marmalade makes me smile. It reminds me of Paddington Bear. Oh, I love Paddington Bear. I painted him one time. My one friend wanted to paint Paddington, and so we both painted it together. I love Paddington Bear. I hadn't thought of him in a long time. We have a few mesquite trees covering the garden area. See, this is good. You have to have trees, shade cloths, bamboo fencing, things that you can figure out how to shade your garden when it's too hot. Now, with it being June 20th, here in Wyoming, we probably have 80, 90 days left. So anything that I put in the ground, I have to know it has to grow fast. It already has to be, a lot of things are seedlings that I'm still putting in the ground this week. Pretty good size seedlings, though. Christina says 108 in Redding today. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. And look who's here, our friend Tony from over in the pond. Tony, how are you? It's in the middle of the night for Tony. When I have my lives and he pops in, it's the middle of the night. And so, Tony, thank you so much for stopping in. That is so sweet of you to do. And longish time no see. I know, but you have been working and doing your stuff. So I'm so happy that you stopped by. We are in Tucson, so we are miserable. Joe and I come to Yuma in the winter time. And sometimes we think, oh, we should just sell our house and live down there the whole time. And then I talked to my friends, and my parents stayed later, and it was so hot they couldn't hardly do anything. Every day was way over 100 and didn't cool down at night. And it's just begun. It's just the beginning of summer. So then I think, no. I am, in fact, planning to move my cattle panel arches into a single row and cover with 2 giant shade cloths. Such a great idea. But then I am down another $75 and hoping it's enough to keep my potatoes and melons alive. You know, when I go to buy things in the garden, let me pop that down. When I go to buy things in the garden, I always have to weigh the cost. You know, if it's something that I'm buying that year and it's only a single use year, I really question if I should buy something like that for the garden. If it's something that I can use over and over and over again, I can really justify that expense much better. And, oh, Tony says, I love the chicken coop videos. Tony, we got the girls. I'm deciding the name. I have a poll on the community tab on different names. And so far, the top name is Egg, like egg, Agatha Christie. That's one of my favorites too. But we got 5 girls, so we're going to pick 5 names. And so I just wanted some input from different people. And so Tony, thanks for the compliment on the chicken coop videos, because it was fun. And basically, I mean, the roof cost us $10, but it was way cheaper than what that roofing should have costed us. So we are happy. Tony says that it's 3:15 in the morning, hardworking. You are a hardworking man. Potatoes are hardy, you know, and I don't know if you guys do this, but with my potatoes, I fertilize them different times until just after 4th of July. Then I don't give them any fertilizer after that, because the reason here in Wyoming anyway, the reason is because it gets too much foliage and there's not enough size for the potatoes. You know, lots of fertilizers have a lot of nitrogen, and when it starts to get that heat, they want to just explode with all the leaves. So about July 10th, 15th, somewhere in there, if my potatoes are 2 feet, 3 feet high, I cut them right in half. And then lots and lots of that energy goes right to the potatoes, and I get bigger potatoes. And so that's my little tip on potatoes. Vineyard Chick said that they just put shade cloths on today, the Napa cabbages. Oh, bolting. You must have some nice warm weather then, girls. From your suggestion, we use storm door screen, works great. We have been using that. I bought a great big roll of the storm door screening, and you can buy it on Amazon. I think I bought it was like 100 feet. And I have used that and used that and used that. And we have had hail different times. And once in a while you get a little teeny nick in the screening, because it's pretty thick screen. But it has protected my vegetables amazingly. And I always put, like on my raised beds, I put PVC pipe to kind of arches over. And then I just use some clips and I hook that screening on there. And it just protects those plants so well, and it's durable. So for me, it was well worth the cost of buying it. So it's just things to think about. Oh, that's great. Agatha Christie. I said that to some young people. They didn't even know who Agatha Christie was. And I was like, what? And Todd's in. Hey, Todd, how are ya? We have to be careful what we grow because our coonhound puppies keep eating the plants. Well, that's why I have my chickens confined right now, because I do not want my chickens eating my plants. Because as Ann knows from Andale Homestead, little guys like to eat things. Oh, 102. Oh, no. That is hot. Teresa's birthday is Thursday. Teresa, I did not have that on my card. Teresa I'm marking that down. Birthday is Thursday. I'll send you out a birthday card. Ha ha ha. And Teresa is in, and Bunky is in. Bunky says, sorry, I'm late. No worries. Hardware cloth is an option as well, but kind of pricey, but lasts forever. That's true. And when you're gardening, you have to just really decide how that's going to work. You know, if it's going to last me 10 years, in my brain, I take the total cost, I divide it by 10 years, and then it's like, okay, is that worth it or not worth it? And most of the time, it is worth it like that. Look at Awesome Gardening's birthday on Friday. I'm writing that down too. Yay. Woohoo. Punky says, I really like your hair tonight. Yeah, see, it's long enough I can put it in a little thing now. You know, last year it got so hot, and I just went and had it cut, though they did cut it shorter than I thought. But my hair grows really pretty fast, and so it was okay, you know. But Punky, thank you very much. And I enjoyed your girls' singing the other night and having all the different channels on. That was very unique and fun to do. Teresa says that it was 90 plus today and all week. Just out of town or to another state or in Colorado, we're thinking about Tennessee or Texas. Donna, are you thinking about moving? Whoa, that's exciting. Totally exciting. Okay, so it's the 20th of June. What can we plant in Wyoming and make it, you know, so that it's worth the expense of the seeds or the plants, worth all the watering, worth taking up that space so that I get a harvest? Now, at this point in Wyoming, the soil is warm, and that's a good thing. So, though I have planted some of my pumpkins and squashes already, this week we are planting the rest of our pumpkins. In fact, they're soaking over in the kitchen in tubs with some rooting hormone powder that you just mix in the water. And you can soak that for 12 to 24 hours. And though most people use it when they're doing propagation, the type that I have is actually still good for stimulating root growth. And so that's why they are soaking overnight. So in the morning, I can plant them in their spot. Tony says, we have a 50 by 10 high fencing around our property. We purchased 25 feet of 3-foot wide jute. You cut it in 20-foot lengths and fold it half, sew the pockets, plant vertical garden. Very cool. I'd like to see pictures of that. Seriously, I would, Tony. That's interesting. Yeah, send me an email with a picture. I'd like to see that. Thank you so much, Sandy, and thank you so much for being there with us. It was so fun, and you girls were so adorable. They had their very first summer concert. Now, if you don't know the Vineyard Chicks, they garden and they do all these different things, but they also sing. And so they had a summer concert, and they had all kinds of channels. And we got to introduce a song, say a little bit about our channel, and then the girls sang that song. So mine was Wayfaring Stranger. It was awesome. Great grandkids will do that to you. Kids want us to move, but I'm not sure, maybe just out of town. That's worth a whole nother live, talking about should you move where your grandkids or kids are or not. It's both ways. It's difficult to decide those things. In between working in the rock pile, we started our PVC cover project. Craig, you are making Debbie work way too hard. He keeps having these rocks dumped, and Debbie's working and working and working. Poor girl. I feel sorry for her, Greg. You are working her too much. I think you should take her on vacation. Just saying. I'm just messing with you. And Brenda is here. Hello, Brenda. How are ya? Kathy says heat index in Central Texas has been over 100 degrees for 6 weeks with no relief in sight. 2 inches of rain in the last 7 months. Wow. What is a regular rainfall for you guys in your part of Texas? Because that is not a lot of rain. And that is something to consider when you decide, am I going to plant more things right now? Because some of us just turn on the city water and there's just water. We do have some water restrictions always each summer. Like you can never water unless it's hand watering on Mondays. So like I couldn't water today unless I just took the hose and watered a few things. And then you're supposed to water every other day if you want to. Now, does everybody do that? No. I see some people watering every single night. But it does help if people conserve about it. And my parents have been talking about Colorado or the Dakotas, but I don't think they are all that serious about it. Well, South Dakota is a beautiful place to live, but so is Wyoming. But South Dakota has the Black Hills girls, and it is spectacular. It's kind of spendy prices, though. You have to know that beforehand. Did we get rain today? We got rain not hard rain today. North of town got a lot harder. It rained for 15 minutes, maybe. Not a long time, but basically almost every day we have gotten some rain, which is crazy for us. Oh, Kathy says we get a lot of rain March, April, May, but not this year. Wow. But then you got Tony. 200 days of rain per year in Glasgow. Isn't it so weird that some parts of the world, water is such a commodity, and then other places it's just raining and raining and raining. Yeah, it's crazy. We're going to get hot again this week in Illinois. I have watched the weather across the country, and it is crazy weather. And Nisi's here. Hello, Nisi. How are you? And Best Yet Journey. How are you tonight? Nice to see you. There's more water in the Loch Lomond than all England and Wales. Oh, wow. That's a lot of water, Tony. Hi, Sarah. How are ya? I did find it a bit funny. People freak out about the water issues. Every year that the west dries out, the east floods, then the west floods, and the east dries out. I have seen that happen many, many times. I've been wanting to move to Texas, but trying to find the right place out of town because our coonhounds love to sing. I love that sound of coonhounds. I do. But they are a cool looking dog. And I don't know, when Joe and I first were married, we got one from the shelter. And they let us test the dog. So it had been returned a couple times. And that dog was so smart. I think we had it a day, and it had figured out how to turn the Lazy Susan in the kitchen and take all the food out of there. And I said to Joe that, because both of us were working, at the time, and I said, I don't think this is going to work because we will have stuff all over our yard. All over our house every morning. But I do love them. You would think that over the past 300 years of living in the United States, people would figure that out by now. I know, but people have short memories. They do. And Simply Jan is here. Hello, Jan. How are ya? Best Yet Journey says it's 89 today, and that's low. 73 degrees right right now. In fact, it's the warmest it's been all day. But it was windy before, and I think that's why it felt so much cooler. And have a great night, you all. Good night. Thank you for stopping by. Lack of rain is starting to be a concern in Houston. I hope you get some rain. Wow. Yeah, it's craziness. So what am I going to plant this week? Because it is the 20th of June. We're about 85 to 90 days, depending on how our fall is. And on my raised beds, where I have the PVC pipe, when I take the screening off, I have actually plastic that's attached to the one side of each of the raised beds. And so I can pull it over top of it. So if the nights are cool, I can put it over there and it extends that season. So this week we're finishing the pumpkins and the squashes. I have a few more Swiss chard to plant. I was going to plant hanging baskets on the front porch like I usually do, but the thing was that my grapevines have grown up so much and they're already so thick right there with the leaves. I thought, I don't really need to do hanging baskets there this year. One, the sunlight's not going to come through, and so they're not going to get enough sun. Hanging baskets always cost me a lot of money. And it's just one less thing I have to water. And I have hanging baskets on both sides of the house and some on the back plum tree because I have a large plum tree. And on some of the branches, I hang baskets of petunias. Sometimes it's pansies, but mostly it's either petunias or pansies each year. And, Casey must be in here. Where is she? Oh, and Em, how are ya? Now, someplace, Boots and Bounty is in here because people are saying hi. Casey, how are ya? I can't see your comment. It's just going too fast and I can't figure it out. Now, side note, just so you know, on Wednesday, let me make sure that's correct. On Wednesday, I'm doing a video and two people can win. The topic of the video is, on my 3rd acre, how many apple trees do I actually have? Because, here we call our place Apple Cottage because we have a lot of apples. Now, I do have to give you this hint. I was once at one of the universities, not a university, a college by Portland, Oregon, outside of Portland. And they had a huge orchard. And they had the big apple trees and all the other fruit trees. And then they had these miniature. They're about as tall as a step-over apple to about 4 feet, depending on the tree that they had. And they had been there a long time. The branches were gnarly. And they just get loaded with apples. But none of them are above 3 or 4 feet tall. And I loved it. I mean, there was just apple tree after apple tree after apple tree of all these different varieties. Because in the world today, there is 17,000 different types of apples. And we're excited when we see 6 or 8 varieties in the grocery store. I have this, I guess you would call it an encyclopedia of apples. A gentleman did it. It's 7 volumes. It has fabulous drawings and photos and information about all these different apples in alphabetical order. And so I got it one year. I think I got it either for my birthday or for Christmas. 17,000 different types of apples. And I said to myself, how many apples could I grow at Apple Cottage? And so I have been growing apples. Now, Angie, this is Angie. Thank you so much. Thumbs up. Thank you. And Barb is here too. Hi, Barb. And there's Boots and Bounty. Hey. How are ya? So I said to myself, how many apples can I grow on a 30-acre lot? Besides, now I have peaches and pears and plums and apricots and all kinds of berries and mulberries, and I just have a lot of trees. So Angie is so bad. She doesn't like apples. But I tell her that I love apples enough for both of us. So it doesn't matter. So on Wednesday, the video is how many apple trees do I actually have? Now, you can guess. You can't go over the amount, but the one that gets closest is going to win a prize. The other way you can win is that you can actually tell me what kind of fruit trees you have or how many apple trees you have in your yard, and that will go into a drawing too. Sandi, did you know that you can fry grape leaves in a frying pan with about 1 inch of oil and eat them like chips? Now, see, I did not know you could eat them like chips, but I did know I have some recipes that you put stuff inside and you roll them up and then you fry them. So basically the same thing. But I never thought about just doing it just as chips, because on my front patio here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 grapevines. Then over here in the upper garden on the trellis, I have a huge grapevine. That's my oldest grapevine. And then back over here on the north side garden, I have a dessert grape that's green. And so I have lots of grape leaves. So I am going to make some grape leaf chips. That is a fabulous idea. I love boiling them and then rolling them around rice and soaking them in oil. We might have to do some recipes with grape leaves, because you can do all kinds of, like, a lot of times I'll take my grape leaves and I'm making sauerkraut and I put them on top before I weigh it down, and that gives a good flavor. Pawpaw, like an apple. I have tried to grow pawpaws several times, and I can get them to grow a couple years. And then our winter will be too cold. And so I need to try one of them again. Yes. And I apologize because I am missing comments for sure. And Angie tells me I shouldn't keep going back and looking at all the comments because she says it goes too fast. She's right, it does. And I miss people anyway. Every time I eat an apple, eat one seed and it will kill cancer cells. It has arsenic in it. That's interesting. There's plenty of people that eat apple seeds and, nothing ever happens to them. My one friend, they would eat the entire apple other than where the stem came out and the little flower end. They'd eat it all the time. Oh, and Debbie's here. And Steph is here. Debbie says, oh my goodness, I caught your live, Sandi. You're letting your hair grow out. I am. I've missed the heck out of you and your sunny personality. Now, Debbie lives in Cheyenne, Wyoming, which is south of me. I think maybe 3.5 hours, maybe. And so one of these days we are going to meet up and have good conversation. She has great gardens that she's working on. Tony says an apple a day keeps the doctor away. There's truth to that. We have up on the top of the hill over on the right side, if I'm facing the hill, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apple trees up there. And this is the first year, and every single one of them has apples on them. Because what a lot of people don't realize, when you planting fruit trees, when you buy them at a regular box store, the idea is that they have cut branches and grafted branches that are actually flowering branches. And your apple tree may flower for a couple days, or not a couple days, a couple years. And then it's going to go, oh, I'm not really supposed to be making apples yet. And then you might not have apples for a long time. And because the average apple, it takes anywhere from 6 to 10 years to make apples. It has to have 120 nodes, 120 nodes on that trunk, and then it is ready to make apples. So it's just interesting. Thank you, Anne, for that. And it always helps with analytics if you give a thumbs up. Now, Joe and I have an apple press because I have a lot of apples, and some years I have a lot of apples. And that's what it looks like this year is going to be. The trees are loaded with apples. We have ones that have never given us apples before. And my apple trees, on this one part, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have 6 of apple trees right in that one section. And they are all from seeds. They were seeds of apples I got at the grocery store. And they're way over my head now. And so it'll be interesting because an apple seed is not true, which means that just because you planted the seed from a Golden Delicious, a Fuji, whatever kind of apple, that does not mean at all that's what you're going to get. And so you have to know that. And, oh, Misplaced Country Girl, how are you? And she's one of my newest members. Thank you so much for popping in. And I don't think I told you that Debbie was one of my members too. Steph is, Teresa is. So many good members in here tonight. And so those haven't bloomed yet, but those are only, they must be about 5 years old now. No, I'd say about 4 years old now. But on Wednesday, the video is whoever can guess how many apple trees I have. And Shannon, if you watch this later, you cannot guess because you were at my house the other day and I told you how many apple trees I have in my yard. And so she can't guess that. Stop counting your trees for people. You are having a contest. Oh, and they can't guess from just those. Yeah, not even close. So, but you have to wait till Wednesday when you guess. How many guesses do you get? No, I'm just going to let everybody guess one time. Because, but you have to guess on that video. And then I'll have the computer randomly pick from all the people that say how many fruit trees that they have in their yard. And then the one that's closest, because there's 2 drawings, will win. And on the video, I'll tell you what you guys are going to win. So that'll be kind of fun. And see, Teresa, don't be guessing yet. You got to guess on that video. But the other thing that I'm going to plant, because our topic is what can I still plant and harvest? So I'm planting the pumpkins and squashes this week. They're tall because I've been growing them. And I've had them inside, I've had them outside, I've had them under lights. They're growing like crazy. I'm planting more carrots, more radishes, some beans in some pots. The only beans I actually grow usually are soup beans. And I just have so many of them. So I thought, well, I'm just going to grow some green beans in some big pots just for fun. And we'll just eat them, for a few nights. So I just thought that would be fun. Debbie says, I have some pear seeds I saved from Bartlett pears, but it's the same thing. When you plant them, you might get something completely different. But whatever fruit it is, something can be done. Well, that's true, but pears are much more true to form than an apple tree is. Because sometimes an apple tree goes way back into the genetics. Sometimes, though it's crossing between the two different parents, some of those really far back genetics can really pull into that apple, and so it can be really interesting. And so that's why I'm excited about those ones I've been growing from seed, because you don't know. Some of the most famous apples are apples that were actually just that the core was thrown into the garden. Like an orange pippin is a famous apple, and it's a great tasting apple, and it was just thrown in the garden. And every orange pippin came from that tree because it was grafted and then grafted again and grafted again, and that's where you get those true apple trees. And the Vineyard Chicks, are your grapevines still doing well? Did you guys send them grapevines? Send Jan grapevines? How exciting. With our apples, they switch. One year we get a big harvest, and the next year we get a small load. And there are a lot of apples that are like that. Not all varieties of apples are like that. And the more you prune your apple trees, the theory is on an apple tree, you should be able to throw a cat through the branches. Not that I want you to throw a cat through the branches, Bunky. But that's the idea, to have space, airspace, and so the sun can get down in there. And the more you prune your apple trees and they get used to that pruning schedule, the more it won't be on and off, on and off. It'll be much more consistent. And so that's just interesting. If you grow an avocado seed, it will not taste anything like the avocado you planted. That's interesting. I have an avocado tree growing down in Arizona right now. If you notice your fruit tree is not having many blossoms, you can hit the trunk with a hose to make it produce more. Sounds silly, but works. I have never heard that before. Never. That's interesting. Huh. I am always curious what that little ding dong in your lives. I'm always curious what that little ding dong ding is in your lives. I don't know what that is. I probably missed part of the conversation. I did not get your the Gito squash to come up. The Boston Marrow did, and the French pumpkin, but not that. That and the so 3 out of 4. I have some more of those seeds if you want me to send you some more. You know, sometimes when you're scooping out seeds from, say, your squash or your pumpkins, one, they can cross-pollinate. But sometimes, you know, you think you're trying to always pick the fattest ones because those are the more fertile seeds. But sometimes it's just like that. It just doesn't come up, you know, and so you just got to replant again, you know. But if you don't have any more seeds, I can send them to you. I'm assuming it was someone coming in chat. Maybe, yeah. So fruit trees like getting spanked. Oh, the ding dong is on her phone. I'm not on my phone, though. But it could have made a noise because my phone is always making noises. So that could totally be true. I had an aunt that would do that, and her trees was loaded with blossoms. So interesting. So interesting. There's a lot of videos this week. Today's video was on, should you add gardening into your retirement strategy? Because I think that it's important. We have a crazy world going on right now. And my friend that I visited to about a week ago, he's an elderly gentleman. He has beautiful gardens. He has these U-shaped raised beds that must be 15, 20 feet long. And then it goes across and then it comes back. And he built them, and then he has a seating thing all the way around so that when he's working on it, he can just sit there. Well, he had a stroke. And he told me he was so happy that he had built all that stuff before he had his stroke, because he can't do that stuff now. He can sit and he can weed and he can do stuff, but he couldn't build that now. And so it's something that when you're building, think in the future too, not just for what's happening right now, but what's happening in 10, 15 years. Could I do these things now and reap the benefits later? I would love to get some more. Okay. I will put them in the mail tomorrow. Debbie, let me write that down. Because if I don't write it down, I could forget. It's true. Reminds me of the old NBC jingle. Does everybody hear that? The jingle, that ding dong noise? That is so weird, I tell you. This is all my videos for this week, but some of them are with the other channels. But I'm going to let you go because it is way past my half hour. Steph, side note, our son has still not said which weekend we should come down. So I don't know when we're coming to see you. And Terry is in here. Hello, Terry. How are ya? Yes, always thought it was a grandfather clock. I don't know. It's probably my phone making noise, and after a while, you just don't really even hear it anymore. In Japan, they cut off all the fruit on the branch, leave only one. That is ridiculous overpriced fruit. It's totally ridiculously overpriced fruit. I saw a video one day, and they were talking about these grapes from, I'm pretty sure it was Japan or China. And they were like $20-some a pound. And I thought, who in their right mind pays that much money for grapes? I don't care how good they are and how big they are. I'm never paying that much money for grapes. And Dixieland Homestead, hello. How are you tonight? But everybody, I'm going to let you go. Now, Wednesday's video, I'll let you guys comment for a week. And next Wednesday, I will tell everybody who the winners are. 2 drawings. Guess how many apples I have and tell me how many fruit trees you have in your yard. I should be around except for the 18th and to the 23rd. Okay, good to know. There is a green peach in Japan, $500. In Japan, they have a mango called the sunrise mango that costs like $75. People are stupid. Who says to themselves, that is going to be so good it's worth $75? Or that peach is worth $500? Yeah. That's the emperor's doesn't wear any clothes syndrome. Yeah. Yeah. People are crazy. That is way too much money that you should be using wisely. But everybody, I'm going to let you go. Have a great night. I'm already at 54 minutes, so I'm 24 minutes over than I usually do. And I hope you have a great week. Tune into the different videos. I have some shorts besides some videos, and you will get to know our little chickens this week too. Okay, bye everybody.